William Cooper, or Bill Cooper, was an American conspiracy theorist, radio broadcaster, and author known for his 1991 book, Behold a Pale Horse, in which he warned of multiple global conspiracies. He served in the Navy, including a tour of duty in Vietnam with 2 service medals. At the end of the war, while working in naval intelligence, Cooper claimed to have come across classified information having to do with our government and the involvement of extraterrestrials. He also had an independent radio show from the 90s up until his death in 2001. On his show and in his book, he often made some predictions about the way the world was going to unfold due to the New World Order or elite government plans, and sometimes he was correct in his speculation.
Can you believe what you have been seeing on CNN today, ladies and gentlemen? Can you believe it? Supposedly, a CNN reporter found Osama bin Laden, took a television camera crew with him, went into Osama bin Laden's hideout, interviewed him and his top leadership, his top lieutenants and colonels and generals in their hideout. This is a CNN reporter with a camera crew. And he came out and told everybody, within 3 weeks, Osama bin Laden is going to attack the United States and Israel. Now, don't you think that's kind of strange, folks? You see, because the largest intelligence apparatus in the world, with the biggest budget in the history of the world, has been looking for Osama bin Laden for years and years and years, and can't find him. Either everyone in the intelligence community and all of the intelligence agencies of the United States government are blithering idiots and incompetent fools, including the entire apparatus of the FBI and all of their personnel, or they're lying to us. They're not looking for him at all. And whatever is going to happen that they're going to blame on Osama bin Laden, don't you even believe it. Another social illusion, social engineering project to change the minds and the attitudes and the beliefs of the people of the world, especially the United States, to bring about one world socialist totalitarian government.
His book, Behold a Pale Horse, is a conspiracy classic. Bill Cooper and his work pioneered the way for the modern American and global truther community. Towards the end of his life, he became more radical and infuriated at the government and what he called the sheeple. In July 1998, he was charged with tax evasion. An arrest warrant was issued, but Cooper eluded repeated attempts to serve it. In 2000, he was named a major fugitive by the United States Marshal Service. On November 5th, 2001, the Apache County Sheriff's deputies attempted to arrest Cooper at his Arizona home on charges of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and endangerment stemming from disputes with local residents. After an exchange of gunfire during which Cooper shot one of the deputies in the head, Cooper was fatally shot. Federal authorities reported that Cooper had spent years evading execution of the 1998 arrest warrant, and according to a spokesman for the Marshal's Service, he vowed that he would not be taken alive. Bill Cooper is celebrated through various types of pop culture and will forever be remembered as an important figure, not just in the truther community, but American history. What I'm going to present are various clips in a compilation of what I think are some of the more important messages that he had to share with us. He left behind countless hours of audio and video for us to gain insight and wisdom from. I'm only going to present a fraction of that, so I hope you enjoy it, and if you do, I advise you to go read his book and seek out some more audio and video of Bill Cooper's work.
I think one of the biggest misconceptions in this country is what this country is all about, who founded it, for what purpose, and most specifically, what it is that we're all looking for. Believe me, there's an awful lot of agendas going on in this country that are dangerous to Americans, being promoted by people who claim to be Americans, who claim to be patriots, and who claim to be doing the best for this country, including those who want to destroy it and bring about a one-world totalitarian socialist government. They sincerely believe in their heart they're doing the right thing for humankind. Isn't that the way we all do things? Even if we do something wrong and we know we're doing something wrong, don't we attempt to rationalize it in our own mind and to our friends to justify what we're doing? And I think you need to start examining yourself, your agenda, your mission. Who are you? What are you about? What do you believe about America? Is it true?
Cooper goes on to say in this presentation that as Americans, we need to be conscious about our leaders and conscious about the part that we play in our nation, not just in America, but in the whole world. We need to study and analyze what our personal motives are and what we believe. Do we believe in our personal ideals because that is who we really are? Or is it because that is what our government and media tells us to be? In this next clip, Bill Cooper goes over the idea of the Luciferian doctrine and how it is the real underlying belief that the governments of our world have been following all along.
The human race is young in the whole scope of the life of the earth. We're just a young species, really, compared to everything else that's in this world. See, there used to be a time in history when man was just like all the other animals. He didn't think, he didn't know good from evil. He existed and lived by instinct just like the other animals did. Man just enjoyed what God had put there and sort of took care of the garden. Any dentist will tell you that our mouth was not made for eating meat. So ancient man most probably ate vegetables and nuts and things like that. Something happened that brought man out of that state, and if you're talking from a biblical reference, out of the Garden of Eden and into the world. He wasn't innocent anymore. He understood that he was naked, that his partner was naked. He could think. He could look around. He knew when something was good and when it was bad, just as we all do here. When somebody comes up to me and says, well, how do we know which is the right way to go? I know that person is setting me up to justify his bad deeds, and I won't do it. You always know. We always know which is the right way and which is the bad way. In the mystery schools, they refer to this mystical time of coming out of the age of innocence as the Luciferian philosophy. Lucifer, through his agent Satan, on the other hand, told Eve, God lied to you. He's holding back the fact that you too can become God. From the religious aspect, we see that as the fall of man because man disobeyed God. The mysteries, on the other hand, look at this in a different light. Here's their story. It's a metaphor. They don't believe that there ever was a God or that there ever is a God aside from man himself. And man has not reached that state yet, but can, and this is what they teach in the lodges, that if you perfect yourself as the temple of the God within and become Christed, you've all heard this in the New Age movement, you too can become God.
It was Bill Cooper's belief and understanding that the corruption of mankind did not start with our modern world, but that it went all the way back to ancient times in our primal upbringing when man finally realized that he could influence and affect the world that he lived in and could also manipulate and control other humans.
Here's the way they look at it. Here's their metaphor. Adam and Eve were held prisoner in the Garden of Eden by an unjust, cruel, and vindictive God. Lucifer, through his agent Satan, set man free from this garden by giving him the gift of intellect. It's taught in every Masonic temple in this land, every secret brotherhood, every secret society, every mystical temple, every occult organization teaches the Luciferian philosophy. They do not believe in Lucifer. They do not believe in any entity called a devil, and they do not believe in God. It is a mistake for you to assume that they do. They're atheists in the strictest sense of the word.
Bill Cooper believes that the elite governmental authorities of our world do not really believe anything that they say or tell us, and are only parading around as these moralistic figures so that they can actually manipulate us and behind the scenes live a life unknown to us. And it is our naive belief and following of these authorities and leaders that causes us to fall asunder and not analyze our own lives and our own power available to us.
There's a method. That's why you're losing the war. And don't tell me you're not, because I'm in a place of great knowledge about who's winning and who's losing this war. And I can assure you, you're losing the war. Their whole purpose throughout history has been to teach a small number of people how to become adept at controlling everyone else. The very highest degrees of which, combined together, make up a secret order known as the Illuminati. Their goal is to destroy all existing religions save theirs, all existing governments save theirs, and shackle the mob in a system of eternal oppressive debt chained to a computer for the rest of their life, in a propagandized world to make them believe that they are happy in this system.
Bill Cooper believed that America was not perfect. However, this country is about freedom, and that we need to protect the capability of the right to freedom. And when we start to police each other, that we start to lose this freedom. And once we do, there will be no other country available on this planet that will have the right to freedom. America is not perfect, and we do have corruption here, but it is the right to freedom that allows us the chance to fight back through legal ways and to help each other wake up and create an America or a world that we wish to see, not with violence, not with aggression, but with very disciplined and organized ways through our freedoms.
You have to let other people be free, even if they disagree with you. Because if you stop them from having their freedom to make their political statement, you have stopped yourself. You have stopped everyone. And that must never happen in this country. It must never happen in this country. Because if it does, there'll never be another congregation like this, and you'll never hear me speak again because I'll be dead. And so will most of you. Stop bitching! Stop complaining! That's America. You know what's wonderful about America? You can have a press. I have a press. How many of you have seen my newspaper? That newspaper's no joke. It makes congressmen cringe when they see it. It scares the hell out of the enemy. I'm not rich. I don't have anything. You know how I financed this book? I sold copies before it was printed to people who believed enough in me to buy them. And I'm going to tell you right now, unless we can be successful in creating a real free press, where the American people get different viewpoints other than those expressed in the establishment-controlled media, there's going to be a civil war in this country, and it's going to come soon. Anytime any system makes you dependent upon anybody or anything or any system, you are enslaved. Understand that. It doesn't have to be chains of iron. You don't have to be hanging up on a wall. You just have to be obligated. That's all it takes.
This concludes that section of Bill Cooper's message about America and spiritualism. As you can see, he believed that this country could be great, but it was inherently flawed, not just in the corruption of our government and people, but just in the general corruption within the nature of humanity and our need to allow others to govern us without seeking personal accountability and personal freedom through a communal effort instead. Bill Cooper's early work involved him exposing what he thought were real governmental documents that were shown to him during his time in the military that had to do with our involvement and interaction with extraterrestrials. But later on, he renounced this idea. He believed that he was being used through a psyop to spread misinformation. He realized that the government and the world governments were setting us up for a fake alien invasion in which we would have to huddle under their security and accept a new world order of a global government.
I don't think there are any. At one time, I thought that there were, simply based upon documents that I'd seen while I was attached to the intelligence briefing team, the Commander-in-Chief of the Pacific Fleet. At that time, and even for many years afterwards, I did not believe that the government would use me in that way. I had devoted my whole life to government service. I had been in the Air Force, I was in the Navy, I was a river patrol boat captain in Vietnam. I had proved myself. I had combat ribbons with the V for Valor. There was no doubt of my loyalty to my country. And maybe that's why it was so easy to use me, because I wouldn't doubt that what I saw was real. But over the years, I've done a lot of research. And what I've discovered is there's no proof existing anywhere that extraterrestrials are real, or that have ever visited this planet, or that they exist anywhere in the universe. There is not one shred of evidence anywhere. There is lots of evidence, tons of it in fact, that there are a group of people collectively known as the Illuminati who want us to believe in some extraterrestrial threat from space so that they can cause a world government, bringing together of all the people to resist that external threat. It's a scam. That's what I can tell you. What they call UFOs, these craft that fly around the sky, are real. But they're not piloted by some little green guy from some other planet. They're owned and operated by the United States of America for one, the Soviet Union for another, probably Great Britain, Canada. I think the first really operable ones were probably manufactured in Western Canada, in the wilderness. And I'm just amazed that people have fallen for it in the manner that they have, in the absence of any proof whatsoever. I mean, they cite hearsay as proof.
Well, what about all of the alien abductions?
They're not abductions. They're the results of a tremendously successful and very sophisticated mind control operation. The product of the imagination and people's willingness to believe something because they want it to be true. I don't know why they would want it to be true. You see, because if it were true, these are not friendly aliens. They're doing some terrible things to people.
As we saw, Bill Cooper does believe that UFOs are real, however, that they are governmental inventions and that they have been used to further the fake alien invasion agenda. And he believes that alien abductions are a part of a massive psyop. It's Bill Cooper's cynical belief that there are no aliens and that it's all just a media, government, and Hollywood concoction to get us to believe a certain thing about ourselves and life.
I don't think the American people realize that they're on the brink of a civil war. You see, there are many of us who took an oath when we went in the armed forces, and we meant it. We volunteered. We weren't drafted. We care about this country. And the oath was to protect and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And we will fulfill that oath, even if it means we die in the process of doing it. That's it.
Bill Cooper predicts his death. In this next clip, we'll hear Bill Cooper talking about martyrism and that it is a mistake on the part of the system to create martyrs, because it is martyrs who will induce revolutionary change, and that Bill Cooper will end up becoming one. He also predicts his death, saying that it will come about in a shootout with the local sheriff, in which he will have to shoot one, and then in which he will be shot down. And that is exactly what happened.
The worst thing that our enemies can ever create is a martyr. Tremendously dangerous and strong, active political movements always rise up around martyrs. While I don't really want to be a martyr, if that's what history chooses for me to be, then I will be that martyr. But our enemies are not stupid. They try to come at you in a way that will demonize you in the eyes of the American public, or the public of the world, so that whatever they do will seem to be legitimate. But my knowledge of the law has stymied them in that respect, because I've challenged them on every issue and they have defaulted. And so they're betting that some local sheriff's deputy or local police officer is going to arrest me, in which case, if they attempt that, I'll have to shoot them. Or they'll have to shoot me. And that's what the federal government is counting on. Then they can really demonize me by saying I murdered some police officer who was doing something he should never have been doing in the first place and was actually the one committing the crime against me. And I know all of you are scratching your head because you've been taught so many lies all your life. You think this is absolute total bullshit, but it's the absolute, complete, and total truth.
They're not going to let me get away with doing this forever, so the day they come to put me in prison or kill me, you'll all know that for sure, because it will happen sometime in the future. I don't know exactly when, but it will. And I've known that from the beginning.